Hello, another bird here. In this video, I wanted to take a closer look at two locks I got from Nigby earlier this year. These are two lever padlocks that I didn't catch this at first when I first got them, but these are both two military padlocks. And since today is the last day of the First in the Fortress challenge, I thought it would be nice to do a video on these and look at these military padlocks from the UK. So yeah, I was going to take a quick look at them, closer look at them. So if we look at the front here, you can see it says they're very similar. On the left, it says 910-8186, which is a NSN. We'll talk about a little more. Looks like 2023 is probably the year it was made. And then we have a little Arrowhead and J&G, 4-lever ACE, nothing written on the back. On the Squire, we've got 440 Squire Old English written there, forged steel shackle, 4 brass levers. On the back, we see made in England, lockmakers since 1780. Then H.Y. Squire and Sons, Willen Hall, W. Mids. And then we see that NSN 910-8186, and a very small, let me see if I can show that on there, a little tiny arrow, and 04. So I'm wondering if this was made in 2004, but I'm not sure. So I was able to pick this one when I first got the tools fairly quickly. So this was a nice one for learning to pick. So these are my first lever locks I've ever picked. So this was me learning with the tools that Nigby made. Very nice tools. So I'm going to go ahead and try to pick this one real quick. Y'all can see how it works here. It's kind of hard to see inside there, but you can see we've got that one little bolt that goes there, locks the shackle down in place, so it's not like the kind of thing you could shim or anything like that. And this one tends to open pretty nice and easy. It's a good to make you feel good about your lock picking skills, like a little comfort lock, I think. There we go. Yeah, so this one tends to open pretty easy. Not too bad. This one's given me a lot of trouble in the past. You got to use, I found I have to use a lot of tension on it, so much so that I feel like I'm going to break it. And then at the same time, Nigby also warned me he was learning to temper the posts when he made this one. So I'm worried I'm going to break stuff, but I've done it a lot, haven't broke it, haven't bent it. So I'm like gaining confidence in it, but I'm also worried that I am going to break it one day because it tends to slam forward pretty hard when it does go. But yeah, I find that using a lot of tension just seems to be the key with it. There we go. Yeah. But I am happy to get that one open. I don't think I have a video. I know I don't have a video of this one on camera, so it's kind of nice. Get that open on there. Yeah, you can see that's holding up pretty good. So yeah, and now I wanted to talk a little bit about this this Arrowhead and also this NSN number on it. So I thought I'd share some of the stuff I learned. I don't know a lot about it. I just sort of Googled it real quick to learn a little bit more and figured I'd share what I found out. I also have some keys here. I don't think these are super antique. These are probably just a little vintage. Like this doesn't look like it's necessarily handmade to me or anything like that. But you can see that this has that War Department stamp on it. And this one has a tag with that War Department stamp on it also. So just kind of neat thing to look at. And that, yeah, you wouldn't necessarily, you don't know it until you know it kind of thing. So what is that little arrow? So it's, I guess, called a broad arrow or a crow's foot, but I think typically a broad arrow or an arrowhead. And it's a sign of British government property that's been in use since the 14th century. Uh, and I think it's typically used by the military. I am not sure if it's exclusively used by the military. I think originally it was just the arrow, and then I think it's when it's, and so this is the part I'm not sure of. Is it like exclusively used by the Board of Ordnance and the War Department, and they start adding this markings, or is it also used by other branches of the British government? And then this specifies specifically it's for the War Department. That part I'm not sure on. If that, because if that might tell you a little bit more about the age of things. If it was exclusively stamped like this and used by these different groups or not. But I have a feeling that it was used by different parts of the government, and that this was also a further designator of a specific branch or a service that was using it. So BO can be Board of Ordnance, and then later on we see WD for War Department. One site said that an N underneath stands for Navy, and that when two of them are facing each other, that it means it was actually canceled and sold by the government to the commercial sector. And then these, one site said that these were specifically used during World War II. I don't know if they were used at other points in time. So we've got one for India. I think DD stood for Department of Defense for Australia. This one here for Canada, where it's inside the sea. And then NZ for New Zealand. Yeah, so I thought that was something that's kind of neat and something to keep an eye out for when you're checking out locks and keys. Yeah, if you want more information, I would check out Google. Yeah, I don't know a lot about them, but I thought that was kind of interesting to learn about, though. And then the other thing that's sort of like a modern marking that we see on them is this thing called a NATO stock number or a national stock number. So I guess in the United States we call it a national stock number. I don't know why. We don't just call it a NATO stock number. Yeah, and this is the NATO that Trump's trying to get us out of, so that he can appease Putin, because Trump likes to appease dictators. But I'll stop there. I won't go down that too much right now. But so yeah, this is broken up into different groups. You've got a federal supply code and a federal supply group. And these are kind of fun to look up. You can look this up on, it's not DLA's website, Defense Logistics Agency. It's another website. If you just Google the Federal Supply Group or Federal Supply Code, you'll see it. And you can actually browse through the different codes there. And it's kind of fun to look at them because there's like some codes for just ridiculous stuff that you will never buy in real life. But, because it's for the military, they've got everything listed there from, weapons to pencils. So you can see the different groups there. These ones are falling under hardware and abrasives for 53, and then more specifically hardware commercial. And that's going to be locks, and that's going to be door locks and padlocks and all sorts of stuff. And then further down, you've got 99 for United Kingdom. I think it's 01 for the United States. And yeah, that's going to be the country code there. Neither one of these have that beginning part. They just have this next section right here, the grouping number and the unique item number. And so for that's going to be this 9108186 padlock, iron galvanized, 4 levers, 2-inch with 2 keys. So very specific about what you're getting, but also not. So it's saying it's kind of like you order this, you might get this ACE, you might get this Squire, but for, I guess, most practical purposes, or at least the way they've classified it, they're similar enough for use cases they have. And you can look up other numbers too. There's 325-0172, padlock, brass, steel, 11-disc cylinder type. The United States uses this too for our military. So like the locks and the First and the Fortress Challenge are in there. These locks are going to be in there. These are the big Ingersoll locks. So any of those locks that you can imagine are going to be listed somewhere in there. And it can be fun to look at. I'm not going to list them all, but if you're bored, it can be kind of fun to search through there and see what different numbers you can find. And it can be it can be really interesting because you'll see some stuff you don't normally see in the Locksport area. And I know that the Navy's website is down right now. I'm not sure why, but when it's up, you can find some interesting stuff about their high security locks too, because they, for better or worse, they share quite a bit of it online. So it can be kind of fun to look through. But anyways, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to quit ranting. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you, Nick B, for sending these to me and for the tools. Very much appreciate it. I'm very much enjoying learning to pick these. So thank you, sir. And thank you all for watching.